specific areas inside or outside of the LMS as well. So if I want to learn a little bit more about what Kids First Kentucky is all about, I actually have a link embedded into that billboard, and it's going to take me strictly to that individual web page. Okay, exact same use case around these other ones. Maybe I want to learn more about CAS in particular. I can click here, and it's going to take me a little bit to your About Us page, and I can do a little bit more digging. Okay, so again, whether you want to redirect them to your blog, another website, an event you guys are hosting, anything like that, those billboards can definitely come in handy. All right, bringing your attention a little bit further down the page, we get to all of the interactive components that are available for your learners. Okay, now the first component here that I've enabled is essentially what we refer to as a ribbon. And this is going to house all of that user's mandatory courses. The purpose of this is so when a user comes into a course or comes into the platform for the first time, they don't have to sit there wondering, what do I have to take? Where are my courses? Anything like this. Right at the top, it's clear and concise. These are your mandatory courses, and I can click and start interacting right away. I don't have, within the matter of a click, I'm in the training I need to be. Okay. I'm going to dive into this curriculum in just a moment after I cover some of these other tiles I've enabled here. So all of these tiles are once again configurable. If you like them, you can keep them. If you don't have any use for them, we can just make them hide in the background. Okay, so all of these can be configured, removed, added, things like that. One thing you mentioned that would be sort of a cool addition, Owens, were leaderboards. So you'll see I do have a leaderboard enabled. Naturally speaking, it will show the top 3 users in that leaderboard and their associated number of points. If I want to see everybody in the leaderboard outside of the top 3, I can just click View Leaderboard and it breaks it down for everybody. Okay. These leaderboards can obviously be awarded for the completion of trainings, providing comments, things of that nature. And another thing that we've discovered that sort of is able to promote activity in the system is sometimes what clients will do is they'll offer incentives, right? So winner at the end of the year, person with the most leaderboard points, they get an extra vacation day, they get a gift card, they get a beautiful bottle of Double Oak Woodland Reserve, right? Who knows? Yeah. That's what I'd sure as hell be competing for if that was an incentive for me. But there you go. So incentives can be advertised and users can see those leaderboard points. Okay. The cool thing here is if I see someone ahead of me or below me and I see how many leaderboard points they've got, maybe I want to see what courses they took to award them those leaderboard points specifically. So I can click on a user's name and view their profile. And it's actually going to tell me every single course that they've completed to award them those leaderboard points that they have been awarded. Perhaps I see a course here that I haven't taken that I can take, and I can obviously take appropriate action and enroll myself into that course, assuming it is available. You'll notice I can send one-on-one direct messages to users as well within the platform. If I have any questions about a badge or maybe a course a user has taken, I do have that option and that flexibility as well. Quick pulse check. Any questions around leaderboards? Sometimes it's nice to be able to obtain some open-ended feedback from your learners. What do you think about the course? Any feedback, anything we're missing, things of that nature. So we do actually allow you to enable polls and surveys on the home interface as well. So, again, what would you like to learn more about? How do you feel us as an organization is supporting your career development goals, right? You can have as many polls and surveys in here as you want. And the benefit with these polls and surveys is that they are anonymous, okay? Based on the industry feedback that we've gotten, people are more likely to be authentic if those answers are anonymous. So this is real, true feedback that you can obtain from all your learners. If you do want to be able to report on survey answers, you can actually integrate surveys into a specific learning path, at which point you will be able to see who responded what to each question, okay? But from an anonymous standpoint and getting some true authentic feedback, these polls and surveys are fantastic. Owens, go ahead.
Yes. One of the things we've committed to is having immediate survey to get feedback to continue to improve. Can we embed the surveys into the course module? For example, at the end of when they've completed it, then a portal would open that would allow them to answer it. We don't want them to do it until afterwards.
Yep.
But is that what this links to? Can you speak to that for just a moment? Because I love the idea that they would have an opportunity to give feedback And we would use this for a variety of things.
Yeah.
But the idea about evaluating what they just learned is really important to us.
Absolutely. So the difference between the polls and surveys on the interface versus it being integrated into a course module is just whether or not you want the ability to be able to report on the answers you're given. Okay. Again, the polls and surveys on the home page, these are anonymous. So you can't tell Elliot voted leadership training and Owens voted communication skills. You just see the overall responses, right? But absolutely, you could integrate a survey as the last module of your curriculum to obtain all sorts of feedback from your learners on whatever you need. In general, we also do enable course evaluations. So if you want users to sort of rate a course on a scale from 1 to 5 and just provide some comments, you can do that as well.
Yes.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Owen?
It does. Yes. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now I noticed you guys do also have a blog. You do have a blog or on your website. We do sort of allow for a central area to host those blog-related articles inside the platform as well. So all your latest news, you can host and store in here as well. Maybe there's some specific news or blog articles that are relevant to your superintendents and not everybody that views your website, right? So great little area to keep everybody up to date with what's going on CAS related. I'll come back to the calendar in a little bit, but just as a quick introduction, the calendar is going to showcase every single due date that I have coming up or every single instructor-led session I'm enrolled into coming up, okay? So I can see I'm enrolled in a instructor-led course on the 18th. I can actually click on that course and see exactly all the information regarding that session that I'm enrolled into. When it takes place, who the instructor is it a virtual meeting or is it in person, right? And then maybe this is an example, but this course replays, or this is a recurring session that happens every Monday at 8 to 10 a.m. So you can have it recur or it can be a one-off thing. You do have a quick access to add this to your external calendar as well, your Outlook or personal calendar too. Okay. So great little internal calendar to keep up to date with all upcoming trainings. And then this is my probably personal favorite component of our Engage module is the collaborations. So this is a fantastic area for all of your users to become friends, ask questions, share knowledge, provide insight, about everything CAS or everything superintendent. Okay. If you want, these collaborations can be separated and organized based on user metrics. So maybe all of the superintendents coming from this school district are in one collaboration versus all superintendents from this school district are in another collaboration, right? Or you can have a collaboration that just includes everybody. Totally up to you. You can separate those how you see fit.
So if they have projects they're working on, like since they're going to be superintendents, they'll be in their own districts, but we do intend to group them together to work on some things. So we could create groups that they could use this to collaborate through this platform. They could do that work collaboratively through this, right? We could give them
a title, so you can,
and no one else would get in there except those folks.
Spot on.
Okay.
Lots of cool use cases around those collaborations. Sounds like you've already got a few brewing, so that's fantastic. Resources. So if you have any sort of documentation that's relevant to the training that maybe you don't need to report on, they just need to be able to view on a day-to-day basis. Standard operating procedures, health and safety guidelines, anything of the sort. We have a central repository for all sorts of resources. Let's say you host a live session, Owen, and someone missed it, right? Or you want them to be able to go back and review it at any point. You can upload that session as a recording like you see here. So people, if they missed it or they did want to go back, oh yeah, what did we cover in that? What did that guy say? They have the resources and all the recordings of those previous sessions to do a review on. Okay. These resources as well, we also do have availability rules. So if there's resources that pertain to a specific group of people within the system, but not everybody, you do have the ability to limit access to just those specific people. Okay. And then as you can see as well, those resources can be nice and neatly categorized like you see here as well. Okay. Transcript. So if think of this as an internal report card, right? If any of your users want to go through everything they've done in the system, they can do so. They can see badges they've been awarded, all of the certifications they've completed. They can come in here and preview. They can download those certifications if they want to share them externally, anything like that. Every single course they're enrolled into, this put in order a process that they have to carry out commonly as a superintendent.
Ooh,
You can
ooh,
list those steps and they have to put them in order.
ooh, love it. I love that
Yeah,
aspect of it. When it comes
yeah,
to legal issues, tax rate setting, things of that nature, what has to happen in order, that's really great.
exactly. Exactly. We have matching. So if you need users to match terms to certain terminologies as well, you can have them do so. Drag and drop. So maybe sort of a matching scenario, right? I don't think I got this right. I've done this a million times, but I always forget the answers. I think this is no, this is a mandarin fish, I think, and that's a sea turtle. There you go. Still got it. But yeah, all sorts of different questions and scenarios you can tie into your training. So the freedom is yours. Okay. That is an example, overview, a high level overview, at least, of some of the interactive components you can incorporate here as in terms of an asynchronous lesson. The other thing I wanted to show you is another scenario you mentioned is you want users to be able to upload a video and obtain feedback, right? So that's going to be a huge component as well. So we have what we refer to as observational checklists. So how this would work is they'd enroll in this next section and start it. And it would start off with a little bit of instruction. So, hey, to complete this section, you will need to record a video of yourself responding to the issues outlined in the previous lesson, indicate that you are ready for review, and then upload said video, right? Pretty straightforward. So I can go ahead and click next. I can indicate that I am ready for review. And what this is going to do, Owen, is let's say you're the person who's in charge of providing the feedback. As soon as I click this button, you are now going to receive an email saying Elliot has indicated he's ready for review. Please provide your feedback. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to have to do is just upload the video that you are reviewing. So pretty easy. If anyone has ever uploaded a PDF or a resume to a website, this is pretty fault proof, right? Click here, pick your file, right? Might just be a simple PDF, might be a video, whatever the case. Oh, that was an invalid file type, or it was too big. So let's go with, there you go. And then upload. Now you'll be able to not only see the upload, but then once you view that upload, you'll be able to provide that necessary feedback. Okay?
And what does that look like? Is that can that be a video to return, or does it need to be narrative? How does that?
So the freedom and flexibility you have in terms of feedback are one of three things. So keep in mind, you can direct message these users to provide them any sort of verbal insight you want, but generally there's three different types of feedback you can provide. So one is sort of a 1 to 5 star rating. So you might say on a scale of 1 to 5, how well did this user answer the question, right? You can rate them 1 to 5. The next one is yes or no. So did the user listen and perform the task adequately? Yes or no. And then the third option is a narrative response. So you can write anything you want as part of that narrative response. Now, I'm actually going to refer to Piper on this. Piper, if I'm performing my review and feedback from an observation checklist, can I upload a video as a response as an administrator, or is it only text-based?
So give me 1 second. I'm actually just going in to check because I know that for each question you would have to put in the individual, like individual would have to be one of the three that Elliot mentioned. But give me 1 second here and I will check for you.
Yeah, because that would be kind of cool if I could upload a video, like you could upload a video responding to him, or you can type in your response narratively. Yeah. So while Piper digs into that, Piper, just shout out when you find the answer. No worries there. We can keep moving in the meantime. Now, once a user has received their feedback, this course will automatically be marked as complete. Okay. And they can then move on to the next section.
Hey,
The
Elliot,
next section.
I have an answer for you. you can add an attachment. So on the review, you can say, you can provide an overall attachment. So it could be a video, Owens, or something else. So you can do that there.
Awesome, thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, Piper. Quick response time there. Now, you also mentioned there might be some in-person or virtual components to these, what's the word I'm looking for, collaborations as well. So you'll notice this is a synchronous in-person / virtual training. And I can go ahead here and choose my session. So again, these sessions can be virtual or they can be in person. Totally up to
Great.
you. So yeah, you can input your instructor, location, any meeting description and information that's relevant, or maybe it's taking place at Louisville Palace, right? Maybe it's an in-person session. You can host it there as well. And the cool thing here is we also have a waitlist functionality, Owen. So let's say you have a specific in-person venue and it only holds 30 people and it's the first 30 people that sign up get access to it, right? I'm the 31st person. There's no more seats remaining. It'll still allow me to add myself to the wait list. If someone else then unenrolls themselves, I automatically get enrolled into that course as a replacement. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. But I want to take a quick pulse check here, Owen. Is this up to expectation? Is there anything missing? Is this easy enough to use, assuming you were a superintendent coming in here?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of things that they deal with that are much more difficult. And I like the idea of what you've created are the options for in person, which I told you there's going to be some things that we just need to be with them in the same room. The idea of the virtual, I think, plays out as well with one-on-one coaching, where the professional coach we've got also a sitting superintendent that will be a mentor as well. They can use that as that option. Or there may be a chance for us to speak to someone collectively for an hour instead of 6 hours from the national level, for example, that we would pull everybody on to a virtual session. So those options, and then of course the asynchronous, which they do on their own time. So I think that's exactly what we're looking for, these various delivery options that we can really leverage to make it a better product.
Exactly. And that's a lot of the components I've tied in here. So I saw on your project plan, maybe you're collaborating with a state service agency or maybe a national level entity or topic expert. So I've got examples of that here as well.
Right.
And then for your one-on-one coaching scenarios, right? So you might have, this is another example of a virtual session, but you'll notice here there's multiple sessions, each with a different instructor or coach, right? So you might, as part of the course content instructions, this is a coaching training. Please pick the session with your assigned coach and enroll in that appropriate session, right? So any use case you can sort of imagine that you can definitely be built out pretty straightforward. And then I'll show you quickly what a quiz might look like in the system as well.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yes.
Ask a question. Go back to that last screen if you would, and show me the link, if you would. There we go, the Zoom meeting. Okay, so that it's a Zoom platform. That's what I was wondering about. I wanted to know, because we operate so much. Teams is also an element, but you don't operate as well within Teams in Kentucky. So if it's a Zoom link, that's a lot better. I think folks really understand that connection. That's all I wanted to see. I didn't pick up that it was a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also the nice thing with Absorb, we have integration with Zoom. It's completely free, but essentially how it works is we plug your business account into the back end of the system and we add Zoom as a venue. So let's say you're creating your instructor-led session. You know that this is going to occur over Zoom. It actually automatically generates the URL for that meeting. So you don't have to create it outside and copy and paste it. Everything from start to finish can be done right in the system.
Okay.
Yeah. So makes it a little bit more seamless and a little less jumpy from back and forth, right? Yeah, I'll show you what a quick quiz looks like here. So this might be a final assessment, 5 questions. you'll see that you can absolutely have it graded. You can set a passing grade. Now you can allow for multiple attempts, you can allow for 0 attempts, or you can allow them to try this 1,000,000 times until they pass. That freedom and flexibility is totally up to you. But I can come ahead and start my quiz, and now I can obviously start answering my questions. So I'll quickly go through this just to show you what it looks like. Key responsibility of a superintendent conducting regarding personnel. Full disclosure, I got ChatGPT to write me this assessment, so I'm not sure if any of these any of these questions or answers are correct. You can assess that yourself, but there you go. So congratulations, you passed this quiz. Your score is 50 out of 50, and I've now received 100%. Okay. You'll also see as an outcome, I completed this test. I also was awarded 25 leaderboard points for this quiz or this course in particular, which I set on the back end at the admin level, right? But that's an example of a little quiz. Then the last thing I wanted to show you outside of any questions you might have is this is actually a course. I actually want to show you two. So this is actually courses I created with our AI tool. So you guys have you guys had like a bylaws PDF on the CAS website. I inputted that bylaws PDF, and I thought it would be kind of cool to show you what it spat out. So I made absolutely no changes here. Keep in mind, you can add text, remove text, edit the background images. This is just what it spat out when I uploaded that bylaw PDF. So it breaks the entire PDF down into sections and writes content on every section. So you might have an introduction, then it's going to talk about the association in general, the purpose, the memberships, officers, board of directors, and then it's going to sort of go into the PDF itself, the election of the officers, association bylaws, right? When does the membership year occur? The quorum, membership dues, right? And honest to goodness, Owen, this course took me about 1.5 minutes to put together from start to finish. And then all you have to do is add your sort of final touches, right? So I thought that would kind of be cool for you to see. But within a matter of minutes, you can see you can put an entire course together.
Yes.
Kind of cool there. But yeah. That is essentially, in a nutshell, what you can expect from Absorb and curriculum. I'd love to hear your sort of feedback, Owen. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's what I expected based on our conversations, which is great. There's the ease of operation looks terrific. I think it's well within the capability of anybody who's, I mean, frankly, I used to be the oldest guy. I used to be the youngest guy in the room. Now I'm the oldest. So these folks operate in this kind of platform all the time, or this kind of thing. So I don't think that's ever going to be an issue for superintendents moving forward. I love the flexibility. I've got all kinds of ideas about how we would embed things like expert videos followed by activities, group and individual activities that they would be required to complete before they can move on to the quizzes or the end of module assessments. Things like that. And I think what I would hope that I could lean on someone there to help me take a look at, review, the kind of support that I want to make sure that it's hitting all the marks as we go through and learn it.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of information on that. No, so throughout the implementation process with Absorb, you are paired with an implementations project manager, and they offer all sorts of one-on-one administrative training to essentially make sure you're a master of the system before you go live. Once you do go live, we do 2 weeks of live monitoring, right? We want to ensure that all the infrastructure and all of the groundwork that my team and your team have worked so hard to put into place is functioning up to expectation, right? And then once you go live, we're still not done. You have 24/7, 365 customer support. So if you ever have a question, a concern, you pick up the phone, you call us. All of our support is done in-house. All of our support reps are engineers who live and breathe this system. So no matter the time or day, you will be able to reach out to somebody. If you have a question, I'm always around too. I'm not supposed to say that, but I'm always happy to give you a hand on anything you need.
Can they remind me if the participants can upload documents and where I would find those things. Where would I find, like if they're asked to submit, one of the plans is that each one of these modules will have 4 specific documents that they've been operating with in their districts would be uploaded as evidence of their competence. Can you show me how that would work?
Yeah, so you'd get a notification or confirmation that a user has completed the course and uploaded that specific document. Over here, if we jump over to the admin side, all I did was click on this little menu, come down to admin. There's a report. Here's all our reports on the left-hand side, and you'll see right here, course uploads.
Okay.
So you can come in here to course uploads.
Okay.
And now you can essentially manage the upload. So you can come into manage and you can view exactly what it was, whether it was a PDF or a video that they uploaded. Here's your bylaws right here.
Yeah. Oh.
So this is a PDF. If it's a video, it'll open the video, right? So you can preview whatever that upload was. And then you can apply, and then there's a different link to provide your feedback. Now I think I might actually have an example of what that reviewer experience looks like. Oh, so here you go. So this is response to issues outlined in previous lesson. This is the one you and I were discussing on the homepage. So I would get an email notification with a link that would direct me to here, and I can now provide my feedback. So these are the 3 sections that I indicated I'm going to provide feedback on. So I can click here. Did the candidate demonstrate a professional attitude and response throughout the video? This is an example of sort of a yes or no type feedback.
Got it.
I can write some comments here.
Awesome.
Great job. Post. And then I can come to the next section, provide honest feedback on the candidate's responses, areas they excelled, areas of improvement, right? So you can insert feedback here and then post.
Love it.
And then last but not least, rate their response on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being poor, 5 being perfect. Give them a rating. Oh, give them a rating. Great job. Post. And then you can add any attachments. So this is what Piper was referring to before. You can add a video, PDF. Give them an overall pass-fail. Overall, great job. Room for improvement. Something along those lines. Post and submit.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And then that user will receive an email with all of that review broken down. Okay?
Really nice.
Beautiful. Any other questions that come to mind, Owen? Otherwise, I'll hand it over to Piper and she can sort of run through the content creation and AI.
If I'm a coach, I will have credentials that will allow me to log in. Only I will be able to log in to get to that administrative stuff, right? And I know it makes common sense, but just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So when you're creating these different users, Owen, under the users report, so let's click on a specific user here and you edit that user.
Okay.
Down here, you can control what their account has access to. If the admin is toggled on, they have access to the backend. If it's toggled off, they're only a learner and they can't even access the admin side. And then you can also create custom roles as well if you want to limit their permissions on the backend. So maybe they can pull reports, but you don't want them to be able to view and edit users and build courses. So you can limit their access and permissions on the backend as well, just so you know.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's what I need to.
Anything else that comes to mind there, Owen?
Nope, not yet.
Beautiful. Alrighty. Well, Piper, I will hand it to you. I'll stop sharing my screen and I will let you cover the Absorb Create.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Elliot. So, hi, Owens. It's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and ask the question. We're all probably tired of hearing. Can you see my screen okay?
I am. Are you in Calgary as well?
I am not. I live in Toronto.
Oh my gosh, you're on my end of the world.
I am, yeah.
I can just about drive to you. I can drive to him.
I've never been to Kentucky, I'm gonna be honest. Always wanted to go, but just haven't been there yet.
Come on.
Okay. Maybe for the Kentucky Derby.
There you go.
Or if you sign with Absorb.
Yeah, that's right. You have had KFC though. Everybody's had KFC.
I feel like you haven't lived if you haven't had KFC.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so I'm going to take you through the create tool here, which is the way that you're going to generate that course that Elliot showed you on the front end here. So here on the admin side, it's one of the buttons built into the system here. So it's this create tool. And one of the really great things about it is that if you make changes to a course, you don't need to download it, upload it, make sure you have the right file version number like we all have had to do before. It's all built into the platform here. So coming into create content here, there's a couple of options. So you can just start with a theme template, as well as you can also, if you had content already that you just wanted to upload, you can do that. You can also upload a PowerPoint or do the AI course builder here.
Right.
So with the AI course builder, you have a couple of options. You can do it from a PDF like Elliot did there with your PDF. You can also paste from a document or a web, as well as start from a short description. So Owen, do you want to give me a course description that you would be looking to build?
Setting tax rates for Kentucky School District.
All right.
Let's test it.
School districts. All right, we're going to test the AI today. All right, so if you watch, it'll do it pretty quickly here. So within about 5 seconds or so, it has come up with these are the topics that it thinks are important within this course.
Wow, man, that is amazing.
It is. So you can edit these and you can make them more detailed, less detailed. You can add in other ones, but you can then go ahead and generate the content. And once you do that, it's going to basically build an entire course for you. So this does take about a minute or so, but it's definitely faster than if you tried to build it yourself. So you can see here, it's pulled in some images. You can change them if you want. But just going through this, as you can see, it's pulled in these things, these information. Oh, and what is your thoughts so far?
I'm like stunned. I mean, that's like, we have some specific language. It's very, I mean, it'll be specific to it, but the big ideas are all there.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just amazing.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about this is while it doesn't necessarily know all of your particular language or things like that, it does kind of get you to that 80 to 90% of the way there. Yeah. And then you can add in things that are unique to your organization and to things that the AI wouldn't necessarily know.
Yep.
And when I create this course here, you can then go in and make those changes, also add in any of those like knowledge check questions and things like that Elliot was showing you, as well as you can add in surveys as well. So you can have a survey at the end of the course if you wanted to. But just to show you really quick, so you can see here all of the courses, it's come through as courses here, as slides, and you can go ahead and then add in any of your media, so images, video, or audio. You can screen record as well as do audio recording here as well. And then questions, again, all these knowledge check questions, including these 3 survey questions as well.
Wow, that's great.
Oh, and any questions so far?
Are all of in the edit stage, can you edit the slides? I mean, you should be able to take that. Oh, I see. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, it's
just
basically
it's like a PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's like PowerPoint where you can edit them. So if I wanted to, for example, I wanted to make this maybe two paragraphs here, I can do that. I can move them around, make it smaller, bigger, whatever you'd like.
Awesome.
Yeah, the idea is to function just like PowerPoint, right? So whatever element you sort of click on in the authoring tool, the action bar on the right is going to change and let you know which actions you have the ability to dictate.
Got it.
Also for things that are interactive, you can add in buttons. So you can have buttons that go to certain things. Maybe has this button has them do something when they click it. It's going to navigate to a certain page. It's going to show a tooltip with some more information, or it's going to download a file, for example. It's up to you. Now, Owen, do you have?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I wanted to interject here. What's the you all know it's left me here. The guy that does these brief lessons, he does them online. They're like, and he does these brief math lessons, or he does it's just on just about everything. It's like learning. And he's what's his name? It'll strike me in a minute. But what I'm envisioning is that there'd be a link there that someone would come on and discuss one element of this at length, using charts, drawing things out to say, this is how you deal with this particular specific issue. Not covering all the finance or setting tax rates, but this is the formula to determine we have an equalization rate in Kentucky. The poor districts get more state money, the richer districts get less state money, and it's more of a local. So it might be the equivalency rate, and it's a 5-minute video about setting how the equivalency rate is determined. Does that make sense? And is that an appropriate use?
Yeah, absolutely. And are those available on YouTube, or are those available on another platform?
We would ask them to create them.
Okay. So you can absolutely add those. And the reason I asked about the YouTube information as well is because when you come in, let's say after this tax rate approval process, you want to have a video about that. You would come in, click on the blue plus icon here, and click on upload video. Now, when I do that, it's going to create a new page, and then you can upload that video. So if they created it for you, you can then upload that in directly here. Or if it's a video on YouTube that you find, you can access that here as well.
Awesome.
And you can put that into the course.
I was thinking of Khan Academy.
Ah, yes.
Khan Academy. That model is what I'd love to have as brief pieces of learning, then connected to an activity that then they could go step by step. It would be a lot more, it would be easier than just sitting through the lecture, over the extended period of time. So anyway, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the really great things also about this is when you have those videos, you can actually have the video pause and it'll ask a question, for example, or it'll ask them to do something. So they're having to interact with the video, so they can't just, sit and watch a video. They actually have to engage with the material and understand what you're asking.
And worst case scenario, if you are unable to download that video and upload it, Owen, with the click, when a user interacts with one of those buttons that Piper was discussing, we can have it automatically open the web page where that video is being hosted. If that is a need. If you aren't able to download it and upload it, you can simply copy the URL for that video. They click on it, get taken to that URL instantly.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And now, Owen, quick question for you. Do you have people who are like subject matter experts that you want to have them reviewing those courses?
Yes, we're going to have a team of people for one of each of 4 clusters.
Okay.
And this will be the team who will determine the content that will be included. And will then decide on the modules, the content of each module within that cluster. They are big themes that are broken into separate pieces.
So one of the really nice things is you can have people working on the same course at the same time. So if you have some team members that all want to work together on a course, they can do that, as well as if you have people who are subject matter experts on, let's say, on tax information, you can have them come in as reviewers to the platform. So you can say that they're going to come in, review the course. They can go through that course and say, okay, this information maybe isn't correct, or maybe add a little bit more here. They click on add comment. You see this little speech icon has shown up. They can drag it exactly where they want that feedback to go and say, hey, at Owens, maybe this isn't the way I would say this, or this is how I would say it differently.
Yes, love it.
Now, just out of curiosity, Owen, those people you're working with, will they need access to actually edit and configure content or just provide feedback and reviews?
I don't know. It depends on the skill level of the cluster leader. If I feel like they can I mean, I feel pretty confident I can manage this now.
Yeah.
In terms of the content development, I understand enough about it that I could, and I've done enough similar things that I feel pretty good about it. I just don't know what's going to be on the other end. If they don't, I'll probably do a lot of the actual origination work, the drafting, and then they then would review it and then send me comments, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
in some ways, as you know, too many cooks can spoil the meal. So want to make sure also consistency and having a good consistent quality and look to it's going to be important.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm. That's great.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing that just to point out really quickly, because you were talking about having a consistent theme, is you can have a consistent theme. You can have course themes that are specific for your organization and specific for those clusters, as well as have specific color schemes and things like that. So they all look and feel exactly the same. So you're having kind of that cohesive look throughout your courses there. Just really quickly, when you're ready to publish your course, you're going to click on the big green publish icon, and you can publish it directly into the LMS. So you don't need to download it, upload it, all of those steps, but you are able to download it if you want to as SCORM XAPI or HTML5 if you want to. We don't want to hold it hostage from you. This is your content, so you can always download it if you want.
Right.
Now, once you are ready to go with that course, you're going to be taken to a screen that looks something like this. So it will have you can toggle the status on to set the course as active for the learner, set the title, and then scrolling down here is where all of that course material is going to live. So you can see here, this is an example here, and it's all living kind of as one object. You can then go in and add other learning objects like Elliot was showing you, or you can add in that observation checklist, which was that feedback. You can have them sign off they took the course. You can add in an assessment, a survey, it's up to you.
Right.
You can also do things such as add enrollment rules. So who gets into the course, whether it's self-enrollment or automatic enrollment. Self-enrollment being basically, do they choose to take the course? Automatic enrollment says, no, you have to take it. And you can do it by specifics or for all learners here. There's also messaging. So how your learners will actually get notified if they're in the course. They will get an enrollment email, a completion email. Both of these are customizable. And then you also have nudge notifications that you can send people. So you can nudge them you can be as annoying as you want with your nudges. You can send 1,000, one every hour if you really wanted to. And better yet, your supervisors are going to love you because you can also send it to them as well. And so your supervisors, I'm sure, will be like, hey, Elliot, why aren't you doing your courses? I'm getting 1,000 emails. So
it works. It works.
Yeah, it really does. And it really makes sure that you're not having to send those emails. You're not having to follow up with them. The system is going to do that for you. Any questions, Owen, so far?
No, this is great.
Okay. Anything else within course settings that you are looking to achieve with courses? Anything else that we can show you today?
No, it's, again, I can go in about a third and you've already taken me in over half. So, and the things that I was excited about, you've met and then taken me a little further. So
that's what we like to hear.
Give me ideas. And the next idea I've got now is there's going to be a difference between those things that they must do to meet statutory requirements by law, but then why not offer some other things that they may be interested in, particular areas that they could then earn additional badges for, or as a repository in the future for them to learn about. So I think it provides, and they can kind of individualize and customize it for things that they want beyond just the regulations that they must meet. So I'm excited about that. That could be a really powerful tool.
Well, and that's one of the great things about the self-enrollment, and we see that quite frequently where customers push out courses that maybe aren't required, but they're like, hey, if you want to take a course on this, go for it. And it's kind of a way for people to upskill as well as like, if they want to earn a promotion, it's like, how do I do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can reward that
Exactly.
even through things like informing their school board of their interest in professional growth. So, I mean, there's all sorts of things that could benefit them for doing such thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the really nice things about our reporting features, so Elliot showed one of the reports here. All of our reports act exactly the same. You can actually have these reports scheduled to go out to certain people. So you can have it scheduled to go out to your school boards on a monthly basis to say, these are the courses that your people are taking or your superintendents are taking, just so that they can see all of that information and they know they can keep track, but they don't need to come into the system.
I would love to be able to report this. We would be responding to the Kentucky Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to be able to link to someone there to give them this ongoing update of how it's going. Is that how I would do that through this?
Absolutely. So I'm going to come into this course here. And let's say this course is what you want that person to see. You would come in, view activity report. You can see a list of all of the learners that have taken the course, what their status is, things like that. You can save this as a layout. So once you do that, I'm just going to actually click on this layout, for example. So you can see here, I've also added a number of times accessed. And then you can go ahead and you can schedule this report out to go out to that person, let's say on a monthly basis, for example. And you can put their email directly in there. They don't need to have an account in the system, or you can choose a group as well. So if you wanted a group of people to get it, or just individual people, and they will get it as CSV or Excel.
That's fantastic. That's great. And I can keep Jim informed. I can keep KDE informed. Like they're always in the loop. That's really great.
Yeah.
Really great.
And I'm so sorry, Elliot, I do have to jump to another call.
Totally okay. Go ahead.
Great to meet you,
Owen's-
Piper.
I'm good to
Thank
go.
you.
I'm still good.
Great
Yeah.
work.
Thanks, Piper.
Alright.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Awesome.
It is awesome. Really is awesome.
Good. I'm honestly, yeah, I'm really glad you like it. And the last thing I was just going to show you on the learner side here, that considering what you mentioned last. So obviously they will have their mandatory training clearly outlined for them in say this ribbon, but then we do also have a catalog right here. So this is where all your optional training could be housed. This is where users can come to look at training based on free time, topics of interest, career development, right? All of the training could be housed in here. This training can also be categorized into different subject matters as well if they're curious about different topics. So
That's what I would ask KDE if they'd like to come aboard and add some of these courses for superintendents specifically that we could add to this and give them the badge, which I love.
yeah,
The badges, they'll really dig on that.
yeah, exactly. So sounds like for what you're looking for, we can sort of do it all. We took all the